Not sure if there's a king of the transfer portal position yet, but if there is, it should go to Deion Sanders.
You are Locked On Buffs, your daily podcast on the Colorado Buffaloes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Buffs. I am your host, Kevin Borber. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. We are also brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day for free and available wherever you get your podcast. Thank you guys for making me your first listen. I appreciate it. I'm Kevin Borber, like I said, and this is Locked On Buffs. We're talking about Coach Prime, the transfer portal. If you guys haven't heard, it's 7-7. We're going 7 linemen, 7 days. It's been quite the past week, and it continued yesterday. Colorado landed Matthew Bedford, who came over from Indiana with Khalil Benson. He picked Colorado over a handful of other Power 5 programs. The 6'6", 305 player, or 6'6", 305-pound Bedford played over 2,700 snaps this past season for the Hoosiers, between 2019 and 2023, His career grade by PFF is a 67.1, and he made the decision while he was visiting back on Tuesday. And obviously he plays tackle, played right tackle in Indiana this past season, plays some right guard. He also played Benson played right tackle. Let me just give you the breakdown of my notes here because I'm fumbling my words. Benson played right tackle at Indiana in 2023 and then was the right guard in 2022. Bedford played right guard for the Hoosiers in 2023 and right tackle in 2022. So they swapped. And he's also played left guard, right tackle, and some snaps at left tackle in 2019. The only position he hasn't played is center. And so I think this is a really big get for Colorado. Obviously, I've been talking about let's go back to what I said probably last week or whenever we started talking about transfer needs for the offensive line. I said 5 to 7 guys from the portal because realistically, and I talked about this yesterday, you never know which guys are going to hit, which guys are going to miss. So the more the merrier, because obviously that gives you more chances of being better. Obviously, you have a guy like Jordan Seaton, who's the 5-star left tackle. Not sure if you want Jordan Seaton to be the starter right away. Not because it's anything against him. It's just he's a freshman. He's a youngster. But if he is starting right away, that means he earned his play, earned his run. And so that leaves 4 positions open. You would imagine. Let me just run down the list because it's insane. These guys have 76 career starts at the FBS level, and that was without Bedford. So add even more, and you got this line. So you have Tyler Johnson, the Houston transfer, who's played some tackle, played some left guard. Justin Mayers is the highest graded or highest ranked player, or was at one point for the Buffs in the transfer portal. He played some left guard. Yakiri Walker is a center from UConn. Bedford, right tackle, right guard, left tackle, wherever, came over from Indiana. Khalil Benson, another interior lineman. So they are racking in the linemen, and it's really impressive because now they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They got 5 linemen, 7 transfers in 7 days. It's been quite the adventure for Colorado, and Coach Prime's doing it again. He knows what he needs to do in the portal. I think last year, I don't want to say he undervalued the offense line, but I think in a sense that he probably figured that it would be easier to just get a lineman and just plug and play them and kind of use what was left over at Colorado with Van Wells and Christian Gerard-Layton. And then obviously they didn't account for Tyler Brown not being able to play either. So that was another tough blow. But the line wasn't where it needed to be. They were undersized. They were pushed around all the time. Gave up the most sacks in the Power 5. It was just an all-around bad experience for Shedeur Sanders. And by the way, people obviously like to hate on Shedeur Sanders because he's the son of Deion Sanders. It's the Nepo ball thing comes into play, nepotism. And obviously that's quite literally the stupidest thing ever. But nonetheless, you know how the people are. These were Shedeur Sanders' stats for the 2023 season, his first season, at the Power 5, playing against FBS programs. 3,230 yards, 27 touchdowns, 3 picks. Obviously, he was sacked a career high 52 times, but he had completed 69.3% of his passes. Keep in mind, that was with the worst offensive line probably in college football. Now, even if these guys, because I think this line, I'm not going to go out and say that this line is going to be the best in the Big 12, because remember, Colorado's going to the Big 12. It's really crazy. I'm like, mentally, I'm like, still not ready to believe that the Pac-12 has ended, but here we are nonetheless. But again, this offense line probably is not going to be the best offense line in the Big 12. It could be. I'm not going to say it won't be, but we'll just say if it's average, Shedeur Sanders will easily throw for probably 40 touchdowns, maybe 30. We'll say if I had to project Shedeur's stat line with this offense line heading into next year, I would say around 4,000 yards, probably around 35-ish touchdowns, and interceptions. I don't know. I feel like interceptions are kind of a fluke thing for someone like Shedeur, who's pretty smart with the ball. But nonetheless, the point I'm trying to make is you bring in all these guys that have starting experience. They gave up like a combined, I think at most it was like 6 or 7 sacks last year. I don't have the number off the top of my head, but it was a handful. We'll say, we'll call it an even 10. And this is just me rounding up because I don't remember reading how many sacks Bedford gave up, but let's see if I wrote that down in my notes. No, I did not. Darn, dang, that would have been a good one to have. Sorry. But we'll just round it up to an even 10. Shedeur Sanders, if he gets sacked 20 times this year instead of 53, imagine the difference in some of the games. A lot of the games were, I won't say won and lost because of sacks, but there's a lot of possessions that were ruined by sacks. There was a lot of momentum that was killed by sacks. Just a lot of things that hurt the offense and the momentum and the confidence of the offense when Shedeur Sanders was getting sacked so much. And so having a better line should only help him. Plus, we need not forget this Colorado team could not run the ball. People want to debate me in the comments all the time and say they could run the ball. These were their overall stats. Obviously, this includes Shedeur Sanders, who, I mean, realistically, his rushing stats don't matter that much. But Colorado had 827 yards as a team on 2.3 yards per carry and 12 rushing touchdowns. And at one point, they went, I think it was like over a month and a half without a touchdown because I believe it was Anthony Hankerson, or no, it was Sivion Wilkerson, who led the team with 3 rushing touchdowns. He scored against, who was it? Arizona, which was the team had gone nearly the whole season without a rushing touchdown from that point. So it was pretty rough. So back to the line. They pass block better. Not all their run blocking grades are the best, but it's an experienced group. I'm sure they could figure things out. It'll probably be better than what they had. And so then you open up the rushing attack for Alton McCaskill, for Dylan Edwards, for maybe a younger running back gets in there. Maybe they bring in another transfer running back. I'm not sure who else that they would throw in the mix there. Obviously, Smoke is gone. Maybe Wilkerson comes back. Wilkerson's only a sophomore, or is listed as a sophomore, so he should come back. So they have a lot of running back options. Maybe they go out and get one in the portal too. And so it's exciting. This offensive line is coming together. I think a lot of people wanted to, and this isn't me, I think a lot of people point at me and you were like, and say, you said he couldn't build a line through the portal. I never said that. I said it's difficult, and I will stand by that until I see this unit play. I'm going to say it's difficult to bring together 5 new players and just plug them in and play them and expect them to be really good. Now, it helps when these 5 new players have experience, were quality starters, and know what it takes to play at the Power 5 level, and they have that. So that's a plus, because right now, if I had to, this is just a mock starting lineup of the offense line. We'll say Seaton at left tackle, Mayers at left guard, Walker at center. Then you got Tyler Johnson at right guard. And then you throw in Bedford at right tackle. And obviously Khalil Benson's in the mix there too. So it's just one of those things where Colorado has options. You still have Tyler Brown. You still have Savion Washington. So you still have guys who have experience off the bench. And so this unit has more depth now. They can, I won't say guys can get injured now, but they could adapt for injuries. They can rotate guys in and out. This offense line is finally being prioritized, and it's really a good thing to see if you're a Colorado fan. It's a really good thing to see if you're Shadur Sanders, and probably his back and his legs and everything that was hurting him throughout the year, because oh gosh, dude was probably every game. I imagine he spent quite some time in the ice bath after the game. So offense line is trending in the right direction, and Coach Prime is also prioritizing the offense line, which is a beautiful thing to see. This episode of Locked on Buffs is brought to you by our sponsors over at FanDuel. As the weather gets colder, the NFL offers stay hot on FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action than right now. The app is super easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options that include spreads, and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel is the official partner of the NFL. Welcome back to Locked on Buffs. I am Kevin Borbo. Thank you guys for making me your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast. It's time to talk about the fake offer. So there's a player from Jackson State by the name of Amari Ward who was posted in Colorado graphics. He's been posted, basically, he's been posted as posting himself as if he's been coming to Colorado, and he's not. I think there's a lot of things that are kind of shows that he's coming to Colorado. He keeps posting commitment things. He posted one last year, and I think he actually got me too. Like, obviously, there's so many transfers coming in from the portal, so everybody's like, "Oh, a Jackson State transfer. That's number 4 or 5 on the list, or whatever it may be." And little did we know, Amari Ward is not a member of the team. Will not be a member of the team. Um, and it's just one of those things where he had a I don't really know what his situation is, but nonetheless, On3 posted an article, or not an article, like a graphic. Excuse me. Sorry, English is hard sometimes. It's my first language, my only language, but sometimes I don't English well. Um, they posted a graphic, and it was all the linemen. I think it was pre-Bedford, so it was like Benson, Johnson, Mayers, and someone else. And I think Jordan Seaton was in the graphic, all the linemen that they had grabbed. So it was like a huge thing, right? Well, that included Amari Ward, the Jackson State kid. And excuse me, Andrew Zimmer, who's a coach for Colorado, one of the analysts, responded to the tweet, said, Amari Ward is not coming to see you as a recruit. No one on our staff has talked to him. In fact, this is the second year that he has posted a fake offer from us. And so this obviously sent a lot of people talking about, like, what is who is this Amari Ward fellow? Like, why is he saying he's associated with Colorado, but he's not? And it's just one of those things where it's like, what is happening here? And so I found a little story about him, because I think it felt necessary to read. So 24/7's Jimmy Seafrost wrote an article. This is the Buff Stampede, so Colorado's 24/7 correspondent. Said Amari Ward tried to transfer to Colorado from Jackson State in June, but was denied admission to the school based on his poor academic performance. What the admission committee did not know was a situation that left Ward fearing for his safety in Jackson, Mississippi. So it says, in an Instagram post, Ward explained the situation that led him to leave Jackson State. So he said, first off, I want to say this message isn't to tarnish Jackson State University, but some things need to be brought to light since the situation was thrown under the rug like it never happened. As many of you know, I attended Jackson State University July through December 2022, and the experience was amazing. The best HBCU atmosphere in the country, and playing under the greatest coach in the country, Deion Sanders, a.k.a. Prime. While at Jackson State, I had 4 roommates, Randall Smith, Flynn Brown, and another name I won't mention. Everything was cool, but as time went on, Randall Smith started showing his true colors. Problem starter and a thief. December 2nd, 6:40 a.m. is a day I'll never forget. Waking up for practice the day before the SWAC championship game, I get out of bed to proceed to the bathroom. And as I walk out of my bedroom, in the hallway, the first thing I notice is loud music in another room, and the door is wide open. I walk into the room, and first I see say to myself is won the world. But again, it's 6:40 a.m. I'm half asleep, and I realize I'm stepping in blood also in the hallway. I follow the blood trail marks out the door into the main hallway as I see Randall dragging something into the elevator, and I say to myself, that looks like a body. I still wasn't processing everything. I went into the bathroom and brushed my teeth. I heard a loud bang downstairs. I walk toward the bathroom window and I see Randall putting something in the backseat of my car. And then he says, I grabbed my things and left the football facility, called my dad and told him what I seen. I told my coach hours go by. The police confirmed with me what I see is real, that Randall shot and killed Flynn Brown in the same dorm 600 feet away from where I lay my head. Very traumatic incident to witness on top of receiving threatening text messages, knowing everywhere I go to watch my back because it's some cruel people in this world. After this traumatic situation, I decided to stay home the spring semester, and that didn't go well as my grades slipped from 3.6 to 2.1. I failed. I was failed for classes that were in person, even though the university had me fill out a paper saying I won't be attending classes in person. I never got the help I needed when I emailed professors. Sorry, continuing. Just want to make sure my mic wasn't muted because that happened to me the other day and it was annoying. I was failed for classes that were in person, even though the university had me fill out a paper saying I won't be attending classes in person. I had to figure it out on my own. I got receipts and I came to the realization Jackson State University wasn't the place for me. I love everything about Jackson, the people, the fan base, the community. It wasn't meant to be. I encourage anyone who witnesses any traumatic experience to go talk to someone. Don't be like me, embrace it all in because it's not easy. Been a rough year. Flynn Brown, you are a brother and a friend, and we got you down here, brother. Protect us. And then it says justice for Flynn. And then it says after the incident, continue with the article. Ward met with Jackson State Deion Sanders to help him get through the situation. This was when he was the coach over at Jackson State. And he said, I couldn't sleep through the night. It was hard being in a room by myself. That next morning, we had conversations about 45 minutes to an hour away before everyone came downstairs. Then, right before the game, he called me out to the whole team, and we talked about it and didn't get into detail about the situation, but he let me know that he cared about me. Ward initially intended to go back to Jackson State, but threats were made. And then it says, with his admission initially being denied, Ward spent time in his home state of Florida. He picked up jobs within the community, working as a 7th grade PE teacher, among math and science and social studies as well. Outside of teaching, he started and runs an 18-year-old football team, the Central Florida Buccaneers. This team is to help players find their path to playing at a higher level. And so, obviously, the situation is quite confusing. It's not really clear as to what is going on or like what his association with the team is anymore. Obviously, the coach said he's not part of the team. So until he says otherwise, until someone on the staff says otherwise, it's hard to tell what Ward's status is. There is in the article, it did state that he is going to try to walk on to the team. But who knows? I will keep you guys updated when I know. But as of right now, Amari Ward's offer is being deemed a fake offer by one of the coaches. If I get updates, I will keep you guys updated on the situation because it's definitely a bizarre situation. And hopefully, if what he went through, if that happened, I hope he gets the help he needs, and I hope it all works out in the end. But yeah, so that was a story I wanted to talk to you guys about. Amari Ward has been included in a bunch of graphics, and according to a staffer, he is not a member of Colorado's class, and I will continue to keep you guys updated on that. This episode of Locked on Buffs is also brought to you by our sponsors over at LinkedIn. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to have as many top-tier candidates as possible to interview. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help you find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. That's how I found my first career job, at LinkedIn. I went to LinkedIn, typed in the skill set I had, talked to the hiring manager. I was hired, Pac-12 Networks, bada bing, bada boom. Here I am. Now I'm giving news to you guys over here at Locked on Buffs. I appreciate everything that LinkedIn has done for me. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. It has a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals, what makes it the best place to hire. Hiring is easy when you have that many quality candidates. So easy, in fact, that 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. LinkedIn knows that small businesses are wearing so many hats and might not have the time or resources to hire. Thankfully, with LinkedIn, the process is intuitive, quick, and easy. They even launched a feature that helps you write job descriptions, making the process even easier and quicker. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Welcome to Locked On Buffs. Welcome back. This is the last segment of the show. Sorry to see you guys go, but I appreciate you guys for making me your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast. Okay, we're talking transfer portal names. Jeremy Macklin's little cousin, the North Texas wide receiver transfer, has committed to Kentucky. So Colorado will not be landing him. It's one of those things where you expect a lot of movement, and obviously Colorado did not end up getting Macklin, and that's okay. There's other fish in the sea, as they say. He is he's kind of been all over the place. So it's one of those things where he was a proven receiver this year. We'll have a good opportunity at Kentucky. They're building something. Jamari Macklin is his name, and best of luck to him. He won't be a buff. That's okay. Colorado still has some other portal targets that they're looking after. And also, I wanted to talk to you guys about just the portal names that this team is currently in the mix for, trying to bring in. We'll just say, because obviously it's a lot of excitement in the portal these days. So on top of all the offense linemen, Colorado needs some beef. I talked about needing some beef. Colorado is now focusing on the defensive line, the defensive side of the ball. They are bringing in, drum roll, please. Sorry, my computer gets slow sometimes, and it's really upsetting. I apologize I'm waiting for my note page to load, and it's like just chilling with a blank white piece of paper. Florida defense lineman Chris McClellan, excuse me, is expected to be a visitor from Oklahoma, former 4-star. He's taken visits to Alabama, Ohio State, Oklahoma, and USC when he was a recruit. He played in all 25 games for the Gators as a freshman, sophomore, had 46 tackles, 2 sacks. See, that's the kind of beef that Colorado needs. Obviously, they brought in a lot of bodies last year. Not all of them had Power 5 experience. There was guys who were Power 5 backups. This guy has some quality experience. He has seemingly brought his attention to, he's paying attention to these 3 programs: Colorado, Missouri, and Oklahoma. He's got an in-home visit with the Sooners tomorrow on Thursday. And then Friday, we'll have one with the Missouri. And then he's going to come to Colorado. So that's exciting there. Then also a former transfer from Colorado, Derek McClendon, is going to the NFL. So shout out to Derek. Hope it works out for you. Let's see who else I got on my little note sheet here. Because realistically, Colorado is in the mix. They got a lot of transfers that they're hoping to bring in. Number 1 transfer portal class in the country. Not surprising. Let's see. It is also worth noting that Miles Jackson is a linebacker to watch out for. They have Jamar Sakona, USC defense lineman. So there's a lot of names out there. Colorado, keep your eyes peeled is all I got to say. I wanted to bring attention to McClellan, though, because that's a big-bodied transfer that you don't want to miss out on. I think Colorado kind of missed out on those guys. There's also a Houston defense line transfer right now that is probably one of the hottest names in the portal, just because of the fact that he was so dominant. His name is Jamari Caldwell, excuse me. He had a huge season. Maybe Colorado could get in the mix there. Let me pull up his stats real quick. Jamari Caldwell, big fella. 6'1", 325. He had 6.5 sacks and a forced fumble, 27 total tackles. So Colorado is in the mix, on the prowl in the portal. It's really exciting to see what Coach Prime's doing over there. I will keep you guys updated on everything I see, I hear about, because Colorado's, they're moving in the portal. I think they're going to finish with the number 1 class again. This class is looking very heavy in a good way. Big bodies, some thickness, thick with a couple C's. On Friday, we're going to have Brian Smith, our recruiting insider, over here at Locked On, come on the show. We're going to talk about Colorado's recruiting class, some flips. Boo Carter's mom, the 4-star Colorado he wasn't a commit. He was a target, excuse me. Committed to Tennessee. she posted something about not liking Tennessee, whether it was a state, the university, who knows? Maybe Colorado flips someone there. So I will keep you guys updated. I'll talk about it with Brian. We're going to dive into the recruitment of all things Buffs, all things transfer portal. I hope you guys are there. Let's get to 4,000 subs. I will see you guys tomorrow. I hope you guys have a great Wednesday. Have a great rest of your day.